Welcome to Project Debrief.
Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always excited to go exploring with you.
Okay, so this one's a biggie.
Yeah.
We're diving headfirst into the aftermath of the 2024 election.
Buckle up.
Specifically, we're going to be dissecting Trump's victory speech.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we've got excerpts straight from the speech itself, so no filter, straight from the source.
Love it.
And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here.
I bet.
Get ready for some surprises, some eyebrow-raising moments.
Okay.
And maybe even a little reading between the lines action.
I'm ready. Let's jump in.
All right. Let's hit those headlines first.
Okay.
Trump defeats Harris, snags that spot as the 47th.
Right.
Or, well, is it the 45th again? President of the United States.
Yeah. It's, well, either way, he's back.
He's back. And in classic Trump fashion, he's calling it the greatest political movement of all time.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have that.
I feel like we've heard that one before, haven't we?
Definitely rings a bell.
Maybe just a slight rebranding, right? But here's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
He's claiming victory not just in those key battleground states,
Right,
but also, get this, in the popular vote.
Oh, wow. Now that is...
You know, we might want to fact check that one later.
Yeah, might be worth a look.
Just saying. But for now, let's focus on something that really struck me, and that's the tone.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, what about it?
Gone in is that, that fiery, combative rhetoric we've kind of come to expect from him.
Right.
Instead, he's all about unity, healing, making America great again.
Again, huh?
Again. It's like it's a reboot sequel.
I like that.
So the shift in tone, right? I mean, it's pretty fascinating.
It is, yeah. It's different.
What do you make of it? Could it be like him recognizing that governing needs a different approach? Different from campaigning?
Well, it's certainly possible, right? I mean, governing does require building consensus and coalitions. It's a different beast. Maybe he's trying to broaden his appeal a bit. Reach out beyond his base.
Maybe. It's definitely a departure from, like, his usual style.
For sure.
Almost makes you wonder if this is, like, Trump 2.0.
Trump 2.0.
Or just, same strategy, new coat of paint. What do you think? Like, looking at the language, are there any clues about how he might approach this term?
Well, the emphasis on healing and unity, I mean, that's definitely new, at least in this context, right?
Right.
Could be acknowledging those deep divisions in the country, or maybe it's just, trying to present a more, shall we say, presidential image.
Yeah.
We've all seen the left presidential moments.
Right, and he did say he wants to make America great again.
Right, there's that.
Maybe he's going for a gentler approach, a more unifying approach.
It's possible, but, actions speak louder than words. Well, let's see how this rhetoric translates into actual policies.
Yeah, good point.
We got 4 years to watch this play out, that's for sure.
All right, so let's move on to something a bit more, well, let's just say colorful.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, the cast of characters on stage and mentioned in the speech, it's pretty eclectic.
Eclectic, that's a good word for it.
So we've got J.D. Vance as VP, right? A guy known for, being pretty feisty.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on, as Trump puts it, the enemy camp.
The media.
The media, exactly.
Good choice.
Vance as VP, that's significant, right? I mean, his background, venture capitalist turned populist author, it kind of speaks to that focus on economic nationalism.
Absolutely, and those cultural issues that really resonate with Trump's base.
Right.
His appointment could signal a move towards that national conservative movement.
Interesting.
Gaining more influence,
And let's not forget Melania.
Oh, yeah.
Quick shout out to her #1 best-selling book.
Subtle reminder of her popularity, perhaps.
Yeah, and maybe her influence behind the scenes.
Yeah, Bruno.
Then there's the tech billionaire in the mix.
Okay.
Elon Musk.
Wow. Okay. Apparently, he's now a super genius who helped out during Hurricane Helene.
With Starlink, right?
With Starlink, yeah, that satellite internet constellation thing.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing technology, actually.
So space internet to the rescue, huh?
I guess so.
But it's interesting, him highlighting this connection with Musk.
It is, yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, it aligns with his tendency to cultivate those relationships with high-profile figures.
Right.
Particularly in tech and business.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
Definitely a pattern we've seen throughout his career.
Okay, then we got Dana White, the UFC guy,
Okay.
who Trump claims is, hugely successful. thanks to some early support from him.
Interesting.
And then we even get cameos from Bryson DeChambeau,
The golfer.
the golfer, yeah, and RFK Jr., who seems to be focusing on health these days.
Wow, that's quite the lineup.
It is, right. It's quite the mix.
From Silicon Valley to the Octagon
To the golf
to
club.
alternative medicine. Yeah, it's remarkably diverse.
It is.
So what does this eclectic mix, right? What does it tell us about Trump's alliance's priorities for this term?
Good question.
How might it influence his governing style?
Well, it certainly suggests a continuation of his outsider approach to politics, right?
Right.
He's drawing from a wide range of fields, personalities, seems to be prioritizing those who share his vision of, American strength, success.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he's assembling a cabinet, not based on traditional qualifications, but on shared ideology and loyalty, regardless of their traditional political affiliations.
Wow, that's a really interesting observation.
And something to think about.
It paints a picture, of how he might approach this term.
Absolutely.
Okay, now speaking of approaches,
Okay.
let's move on to the promises and priorities laid out in the speech.
Right.
I picked out some key phrases that I think reveal a lot about his agenda for this next chapter.
I'm all ears. I'm ready. Lay 'em on me.
Okay, so one that really jumped out at me, it was promises made, promises kept. He's really hammering home this idea of commitment,
right.
Following through.
Delivering.
Yeah, delivering on those campaign pledges. And then there's that repeated focus on, the economy, border security, military strength.
Classic Trump.
Those classic, Trumpian themes.
It's a return to the core messaging that resonated with his base in the past.
Yeah, definitely hitting those familiar notes.
Projecting that image of a strong America.
Strength, yeah. And then, of course, we got putting America first, making a comeback.
Of course.
Sounds patriotic and all.
Sure.
But I can't help but wonder, what does this mean for foreign policy?
Right.
Trade deals, global alliances, all of that.
It's the big question, isn't it? How will this rhetoric translate into action?
Exactly.
Will we see a more isolationist approach again, like in his previous term?
Yeah.
Or is there room for something more nuanced this time around? His cabinet picks might give us some clues.
Yeah, like J.D. Vance, for instance.
Right. Someone with his background could definitely signal a shift in that direction.
Yeah, we've got 4 years to watch it all unfold, that's for sure.
4 years. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
But there's something else that really caught my attention.
Oh, what's that?
The language used by both Trump and Dana White.
Okay.
It's very much, it's an us versus them kind of vibe.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, Trump talks about, the enemy camp when he's talking about the media.
Right, right.
And then White, he uses that phrase, the machine coming after you.
You're right. It's that kind of language that really taps into that sense of grievance.
Yeah.
It fuels that polarization that's already so intense in our politics.
It's like, drawing those battle lines.
It's creating that us versus them mentality.
Right. And it's not just the words themselves.
Right.
It's the energy behind them.
Right, the tone.
It's like they're, rallying the troops for another battle.
And that's what's so concerning.
Yeah.
When political discourse becomes so adversarial, it undermines trust. It creates this fertile ground for misinformation, even violence.
Right. It's like they're feeding off that division, using it to, solidify their base.
Demonize their opponents.
I mean, you wonder if it's a calculated strategy, right?
To be.
To maintain that grip on power.
It's a dangerous game to play.
For sure.
With some potentially serious consequences for our democracy.
Okay, so we've covered the headlines, the tone,
the
cast of characters, the promises.
A lot to digest.
It's a lot to process.
It's a dense speech, that's for sure.
Packed with meaning and potential implications.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, right? To break it down.
Exactly.
Let you make sense of it all.
Speaking of making sense of things, there's one final point I wanted to bring up.
Okay, I'm listening.
Something that it wasn't explicitly stated, but definitely left me wondering.
All right, let's hear it.
Towards the end of the speech, Trump mentions never doing another rally again.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, he says he's never holding another rally.
That's a bold statement.
Right. I mean, rallies were such a defining feature of his previous campaigns.
They were, yeah.
Makes you wonder if he's trying to, distance himself from that image.
It's possible, right?
Or maybe the rallies have just served their purpose.
He's back in office now. Maybe he doesn't feel the need for them anymore.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to, I don't know, tone things down a bit.
Project an image of stability, unity.
Now that he's back in the Oval Office.
It's definitely a shift.
It's a fascinating development.
For sure.
And it speaks to that larger question of, how Trump will adapt his approach.
Yeah.
Now that he's facing a new set of challenges, expectations.
As a returning president.
Precisely. This is a new chapter.
It is.
And it remains to be seen what strategies he'll employ,
Right.
To navigate this complex political landscape.
We'll be watching closely, that's for sure.
And I have a feeling we'll be spending a lot of time here on the deep dive.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Dissecting those strategies, trying to understand their impact.
Absolutely, that's what we do.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Trump's victory speech,
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that this is a man entering his another term as president.
Another term.
With a mix of, those familiar themes.
Right.
But also some unexpected twists.
Absolutely. He's striking a balance between that populist rhetoric that got him elected
Right.
and a more, shall we say, measured tone
Yeah.
aimed at unifying a very divided nation.
Yeah. So the question is,
Yeah.
will this delicate balance hold?
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure.
What's that?
We'll be watching closely.
Always.
And we'll be right here with you every step of the way, breaking it all down, offering our insights.
That's what we're here for, to help you navigate this complex world of politics.
Absolutely. And speaking of the future,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought, something to mull over as we move forward.
I like it.
Trump talked a lot about making America great again.
Right.
But he also mentioned, never holding another rally again.
Curious juxtaposition.
So here's the question.
Okay.
If rallies were so central to his rise to power,
Yeah.
what does this shift signal about his vision for the future?
That's a good question.
Is he truly moving away from those divisive tactics of the past?
Right.
Or is this just a strategic repositioning?
Something to think about.
It's a question that only Trump himself can answer.
I think you're right.
But it's one that we should all be asking as we enter this new era.
Absolutely.
This new era of American politics.
We'll see what the future holds.
And that, my friends, is a wrap on our deep dive into Trump's victory speech.
Another one for the books.
Stay tuned for more deep dives as we continue to explore the 2024 election and its aftermath.
We'll be back with more insights and analysis.
But for now,
Until next time,
keep those brains buzzing.
stay curious.
We'll catch you on our next deep dive. All right, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Trump's victory speech,
Yeah.
it's a lot to think about,
Definitely a lot to unpack there.
We really dug deep, analyzed those implications, the
Yeah.
potential strategies, all of that.
Hopefully we've given our listeners a fresh perspective on this new chapter in American politics.
That's the goal, right?
It's a complex landscape, that's for sure.
It is, but hopefully our analysis, shed some light on those key themes, those potential trajectories we might see in the coming years.
Fingers crossed.
That's what we aim for here on the deep dive, right? Take those multifaceted topics,
Yeah.
break them down, make them a bit easier to understand.
And to engage with, hopefully.
Exactly, because we believe knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And, informed analysis, that's crucial for navigating our world, especially in times like these.
Especially in times like these, political change.
So whether you're, a seasoned political observer or just trying to, stay informed,
Yeah.
we're here to help you unpack these complex issues.
That's our mission.
And remember, the conversation doesn't end here.
No, not at all.
Stay curious, keep asking questions, and engage in, respectful dialogue,
Yeah.
even with those who hold different viewpoints.
Exactly. It's all about understanding, right?
Yeah, well said.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 2024 election.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll be back soon with more. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
And until next time,
Until next time.
keep diving deep.